You blink. You're standing in a field just outside Kyoto, Japan's glittering cultural capital, except it is currently and very thoroughly on fire. It is 1467. The Anin War started approximately 10 minutes ago and is already going badly. The man sprinting past you is a peasant having a terrible week. The samurai on horseback is not stopping to check your travel itinerary. You don't speak Japanese, you have no rank and no clan and absolutely no rice, and you have a bad feeling, which is the most historically accurate thing about you right now. So, do you think you can survive this? You can't. Welcome to the Sengoku period, also known as the Warring States period, also known as the single worst era in Japanese history to accidentally appear in. The country is technically still run by the emperor, who sits in Kyoto looking historically significant and wearing excellent robes. Practically, though, the emperor is a decorative object, a very prestigious, very well-dressed paperweight. The person actually running things is the shogun, Japan's top military commander, and right now the shogunate is experiencing what diplomatic historians will later charitably describe as a complete administrative meltdown. The current shogun, Ashikaga Yoshimasa, essentially wants to quit. He wants to paint. He wants to write poetry and arrange tasteful shrubbery and never think about governance again. The problem is, he has no son to hand things to. His solution is his brother, a monk who has specifically, loudly, and repeatedly stated he does not want the job. Problem solved, everybody go home. Except the shogun's wife then had a baby. She had it at the exact worst possible moment, and now there are 2 succession candidates and every powerful clan in the country has picked a side. Team brother, team baby. The Hosokawa clan in one corner, the Yamana clan in the other, and the prize is control of Kyoto, which is why Kyoto is currently on fire. You are watching this happen from a field just outside the capital. This is your introduction to the neighborhood. It could be going better. Now, let's talk about where exactly you fit into all of this. And by fit in, we mean you don't. But let's be specific about all the ways you don't. Feudal Japanese society operated on a strict hierarchy, and the polite way to describe it is a ladder. The accurate way to describe it is a ladder where most of the rungs are broken and several are also on fire. At the very top sat the emperor, technically in charge, practically a ceremonial figurehead, genuinely fantastic robes. Below him, the shogun, who actually ran the country, commanded the military, and controlled national policy. Currently, this position is causing a civil war, which is a mark against it. Below the shogun sat the daimyo, feudal lords commanding individual provinces and perpetually wanting more provinces. Below them, the samurai, elite warriors bound to a code of honor so specific and unforgiving that a minor breach of etiquette was considered a perfectly reasonable justification for dying. You are going to come back to that part. Below the samurai came the ashigaru, foot soldiers drawn from the peasant class, handed weapons, pointed at the enemy, and told to figure it out. Below the ashigaru, regular peasants, who did every scrap of agricultural labor, keeping everyone above them alive. Then artisans, who made things. Then merchants, who sold things other people made and were considered parasites for it. Then, scraping along the very bottom, outcasts, criminals, people with undesirable occupations, and foreigners. That last category, that is you, and you cannot change that. You are classified as a foreigner on arrival, and there is essentially nothing to be done about it. This is not a minor bureaucratic inconvenience. It is an active, daily, legal, and social reality that shapes every interaction you will have here. You are not trusted. You will be stared at in a way that suggests people are working out whether you are a bad omen. Your best realistic outcome is becoming someone's unpaid servant without much consultation about the terms. Your worst realistic outcome does not require imagination to picture. But let us be generous. Let us say you survive the initial shock. Let us say no one immediately sells you or chases you out of the village or decides you are a spiritual problem that needs resolving. You are allowed, through some miracle, to exist as an extremely low-ranking nobody on the outer edge of a farming settlement. What does your daily life look like? You wake up before dawn, not as a lifestyle choice, but simply because this is what happens. The village runs on sunlight because candles cost money, and electricity will not exist for several centuries. Breakfast is rice, plain rice. If things are going well, and things are rarely going well, there is a small amount of vegetable alongside it. If things are going the usual way, it is just rice. You will eat rice at every meal for the foreseeable future, and this is not a regional cuisine quirk. This is the entire nutritional reality of your existence. Plant it in your mind right next to your breakfast. Your work is farming. Specifically, growing rice on land that does not belong to you. The land belongs to the daimyo or the shogun's administration or someone operating so far above your station, they have never once considered you exist. You plant it, water it, harvest it, haul it, and hand the majority of it over. What remains after the quota is your share. Your share is not generous. Malnourishment is not a risk factor for people in your position. It is a baseline condition. Your body is your only real asset, and you are spending it at a rate that does not leave much for later. By midday, your back already aches in ways that would concern a physician from any century. You are standing in flooded paddy water. The sun is directly overhead and deeply committed to its work. There is no scheduled break, because that concept has not been formalized for anyone at your level, and also there is a war happening roughly 2 days walk away that nobody around you has stopped thinking about. You keep working because stopping means less rice, and less rice means less of everything. And if the labor does not finish you, disease is waiting. Smallpox, measles, and chickenpox swept through villages regularly and without much interest in your individual circumstances. 3 great diseases, people called them. 3 great opportunities to end up considerably shorter lived than planned. You have no immunity and no medicine worth mentioning. You have rice, which helps with none of this. The faint glow on the horizon is Kyoto. It is still burning. Now, surviving the physical conditions is only half the challenge. The other half is navigating a social system so intricate and unforgiving that a wrong gesture, the wrong bow, or the wrong tone with the wrong person can end a conversation in a way you do not walk away from. You might be thinking, just keep your head down. Blend in, observe, adapt, survive. It is a reasonable plan, and it is also wrong. You cannot blend in. Your appearance marks you before you open your mouth. Your clothes are wrong. Your posture is probably wrong. The way you hold your rice bowl is wrong. Japanese social etiquette in this period was an elaborate codified system of signals that everyone around you has been practicing since birth, and they can tell immediately that you have not. Meeting a samurai requires the correct bow, deep enough to indicate appropriate respect, not so deep as to read as mockery, held for exactly the right duration. Get it wrong, and you have insulted someone who is legally permitted to respond to insults with a sword. The practice of kirisute gomen gave samurai the legal right to cut down a commoner who failed to show proper deference. You are a foreign commoner who does not know what proper deference looks like. You do the math. Could you work your way up? Demonstrate enough skill to climb into a better position? The answer is no. Class mobility in feudal Japan operates on one principle. You are born into your station, and you stay there. There is no impressive performance review. There are no exceptions for people who seem particularly motivated. The ladder does not have upward rungs for someone at your level. It has a floor, and you are standing on it. All of which brings us to the afternoon, specifically to the samurai who has been standing across the road watching you for the last several minutes. He has the specific expression of a man deciding whether something in front of him is a problem or a resource. He says something in Japanese. You nod, because nodding is the safest available response. He nods back, then keeps talking, and the situation has shifted in a direction you did not choose. Congratulations. You have just been conscripted. Your new role is Ashigaru, foot soldier, the rice and vegetables of military rank. Necessary, unremarkable, never going to get its own poem. The samurai needs bodies for the line, and your body is available and apparently adequate. Nobody asks about your qualifications or your feelings on the matter. You were standing in the correct place at the incorrect moment, and now you have employment that will likely end badly. It comes with rice, which is genuinely the best offer you have received since arriving in this country. The weapon you are handed is not a sword. That would be optimistic. It is a kama, a short sickle-shaped tool that until recently was cutting rice rather than enemies. If you perform adequately, you may eventually earn a yari, a long spear that at least gives you some distance from the problem. The well-funded Ashigaru carry yumi, asymmetrical longbows effective beyond 400 feet. Fired into enemy formations using a method best described as spray and pray, with the important caveat that friendly fire is always on. There are also fire arrows, explosive arrows, if you want to fully commit. There are options, and all of them are hazardous to everyone in the immediate vicinity, including you. Your armor is whatever clothing you arrived in, plus the cheapest leather chest piece the camp had available. The Ashigaru beside you has proper metal-reinforced plating and a real helmet. You have a kama and optimism, which are not the same thing. The battle begins at dawn. Your samurai delivers a speech in Japanese that sounds rousing. You nod at what seem like the appropriate moments. The man beside you, a farmer 4 days ago and a soldier since Monday, gives you a look that communicates solidarity and quiet resignation in equal measure. You both understand how this is likely to go. You charge anyway because the alternative involves the samurai, the sword, and the Kiri-suit Gomen precedent you had explained to you just this morning. The field is loud and confusing and thick with smoke, which is appropriate because everything in Japan is currently on fire. You hold your position, you swing your kama at the correct targets. Through a combination of chaos, luck, and the fact that the enemy is equally disorganized, you are still standing when the immediate engagement ends. Your samurai finds you and says something that sounds like approval. You reach down and pick up a letter from a fallen enemy soldier. You open it. It is, against all reasonable probability, a notice from someone about an outstanding rice payment. You have survived one battle. One. The horizon is still glowing. Kyoto is still burning. The war continues without your permission. You have no rice of your own, no rank worth mentioning, no plan for tomorrow, and the samurai is already pointing toward the next hill. Told you. Wouldn't last a day. Nobody does.